Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Jay and Nichole's Learning Lab podcast. I know it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since we've done an episode. Long story behind that. Today, we are going to take a look at KoalaGo from somebody that actually uses it. She is not from the company. We did the same thing with FunClass. And if you remember a while back, we actually did a side-by-side comparison of the two products. Today is KoalaGo's turn, and we've got a power user here to share with us what works for her, what maybe we don't understand, and maybe some things you want to know. What do you think, Nichole?
I'm actually pretty excited about this because I really liked our comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to really bring some, shed some light on some of the areas that we weren't really able to figure out on our own, but without the experience of using it. So I'm really excited to have Deanna here because she's going to not only show us how she teaches on it, but how we can actively use it, which I think is going to be really great. And I want to see what we got wrong, what we got right, and just, break it down for us with somebody who has the experience. So, Deanna, let's jump on in. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello. So what originally pulled you into KoalaGo?
So, about I think it was 3.5 years ago. I think Koala had just gotten started at that time, or been around for less than a year, and I believe it was a YouTube video that I saw where someone was talking about it, and I was immediately hooked on it because at the time I was using Zoom to teach students.
Yeah.
And KoalaGo was very different back then. So it was actually a software that you downloaded. It wasn't online. And it was this really cute classroom, but not just a classroom, not just one virtual classroom where you're kind of like you see in some of them where it's just one room. It was like you're in this open area and there was a room over here and a room over here and one up above. And so they had like a 2-story building with a couple classrooms in it. And then, so there were about 4 or 5 different classroom areas. And then they had whiteboards kind of all around, but one of those was actually a co-browser. So you could go to any website you wanted to. And then they had a field outside that whole classroom area where they had little cows and sheep, and the cows would randomly tip over. And
Really?
Yeah, it was cute.
Funny.
Sounds like a drinking game we did when I was a kid.
And I still miss that. I've actually asked Ben if he'll put the cows falling over in the playground.
Tipping cows.
They haven't done that yet, but hopefully someday. But yeah, it was really cool. And I liked the idea that I could go to any website on the one whiteboard that they had in there. And also the fact that I could import images because I had never seen that before. So that's something I'm going to be talking a lot about, I think, probably tonight, because the ability to be able to import not just images, but worksheets, whole workbooks in Playground is really a game changer. And so that really, when I first saw it, I was just like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. And then I got a little upset for a while when they decided to get rid of that first version of KoalaGo. I was like, what are they thinking? And
Xavier, you've lost your mind.
Yeah, because at first it almost seemed like they were just going back to having a whiteboard and a co-browser and like more like Zoom. And I was like, what are they thinking? And so and when Ben first started showing us what the playground would look like, it was just a big grass field with a little avatar and a couple little bushes. And I just was like, what is going on? But now I realize, it took me about, 8 months or so to finally, till he had it all pretty much done and catch the vision of that. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I love it. It's amazing.
Okay. So What was your reason for jumping from Zoom to KoalaGo? I mean, like, what was the
Yeah.
original jump there?
So in Zoom, I would, I had slides that I would show words. I was teaching reading to younger kids. So I would show them slides and have them read words to me. And, I would draw things on the board or have them draw something or write things. But it was pretty boring, it wasn't a whole lot of creativity that you could do. And for me, I really think, so I worked in public schools as an assistant teacher for a lot of years. And I really think that the number one key to teaching kids is keeping their attention, because if you don't keep their attention, they're not going to learn anything. And so, and for kids, it really has to be fun in order to keep their attention. I mean, even for adults, how long can we listen to a lecture before we're zoning out,
Bueller.
3.4 minutes.
Yeah,
for me.
exactly. Yeah. So
All I think of is Bueller.
Right.
Bueller.
Yeah.
If
So
Deanna knows that reference, do you know that reference?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I was
Okay,
I was
I'm
an
not-
80 I was an 80s child, so
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. I was trying to kind of target your age, and I'm like, I
yeah.
don't know, man. I don't know.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And so yeah, it just, being able to see that I could do so much more and have it be in this 3D world where, kids also, the other thing about learning is using tools that they're familiar with. And all the kids today are on YouTube watching gaming videos all the time. I have a bunch of little nieces and nephews, and my nieces love to just sit and watch Minecraft videos on the
I can
TV all day.
guarantee you, I have a 10-year-old son. I can guarantee you if he's in the living room right now, he's watching some Roblox video
Yep.
or
Yep.
a
Minecraft and
Minecraft
Roblox.
video. Yeah.
Yep.
I
And those,
guarantee you he is.
yeah. And that's the thing, is that the, KoalaGo's playground is patterned after Minecraft and
Right.
Roblox, basically. I mean, it's its own entity
Right.
and it's different, but it's, it's kind of inspired by those. And yeah, so, which I'll talk about this later, but that's kind of why I'm doing my YouTube channel, is because when I go visit my nieces and I see them, we're watching these Minecraft videos that they like to watch. It's not like it's horrible. It's kind of fun, but there's zero education. The people, there's like two guys and a girl, and they're talking over each other the whole time, and it's loud and kind of annoying. And these kids are just, they're just kind of mindless videos. They're just running away
Yeah,
from the
they
zombies.
really are. They really are.
And so I was like, kids need something to watch that's fun like that. That's a gaming channel, but also actually teaches them educational things, good values, good communication skills. So that's why I've started this YouTube channel called Miss Terry's Playgrounds. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Now, before we get too deep,
Mhm.
what did you think about the KoalaGo versus Fun Class episode?
So I liked it a lot. I think you guys did a great job on it. And I think, yeah, you were, pretty right on everything. So it was a good comparison.
It's okay. Please disagree with us on any part you want.
Right.
Where did we disagree?
So I don't know if I would call it disagreeing, but I do think, and like I was discussing with you guys a little bit earlier, so I know for me, the whiteboard is amazing in KoalaGo, and it can do so much more than I could do in Zoom. So for teachers who are using that alone, I still think it's better than a lot of what's out there. And then of course they have the co-browser, and you can go to any site.
Yes.
So I'll go to like education.com and different things and do the games on there with the kids. But I absolutely love the playground in Koala, and I think it is a fantastic tool for teaching. But honestly, most of the people who sign up with Koala don't really understand how to use the playground for teaching. Like it is kind of overwhelming to them. I've heard them say a lot. Because it's this, it's this big 3D world, even bigger than it used to be, because it started out smaller and now it's much bigger. And I think it's cool coming from my point of view, because I never played Minecraft or Roblox or any of those kind of building games before KoalaGo. So I had never used anything like that. I'd seen my nieces and nephews play it a little bit here and there, but not much. So I didn't know anything about, building in those playgrounds or how to use them, whatever. And maybe that was a good thing.
In the water.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing, because I came in with no preconceived ideas. I don't know, but within the first 3 months of Ben having the new playground ready, I was able to build my first playground that is for sale in the marketplace. And it's an aquarium. It's called Wild Dolphins Beach Aquarium or something like that. And it's an aquarium that's 3 stories. It's really big. There's also a castle, and I'll show that to you guys a little bit later. But I was amazed myself that I could build something like that without having any previous, knowledge of how to do this. I mean, it was
pitching me a great big softball now. Getting ready to knock one out of the park.
Yeah, it was
so
intuitive.
So one of my biggest critiques with the playground was that it seems like it's going to take a lot of time to build something useful.
Yeah, right.
I don't really want to I don't have 20 hours a week to spend building a playground.
Right.
How long does it realistically take to build something useful?
So for those of us who build, and Emily is a lot faster than I am. So you'd have to ask her, how long hers take. Because she is a lot faster than I am. But I like to put a lot of images in my playgrounds because I just think it makes it look so cool. So it takes me longer. So that first one, like I say, I wasn't working on it every day or anything. It was like maybe 4 hours a week or something. And then there were times toward the end of getting it done that I was probably working on 6 to 8 hours. And it did take me 3 months that first time. And so building the playgrounds is a different thing than using them and teaching in them. I think that building them does take a while to do. Although again, it depends on how many images you put in, or how much detail you put in.
Stuff.
But yeah, but that's why they have the marketplaces, so that, people who want to build can, and then people who don't want to have to build things and set them up with education material and everything can just go in there, buy it for $10 and then use it. And you can change anything you want to in there. So even things that are built, with the blocks, of course, you can change it all around.
And once you pay for it, you have it forever, right?
Yes. And you can make duplicate copies of it as well. So, like what I do is, when I buy a playground, I'll make a duplicate copy for each one of my students, because the students will go in, and if you have not turned off the permissions to remove blocks or add blocks or things, then they'll go in and change things around.
Right.
And so, so I want each one of them to have, plus I'm also teaching different things to each student. So I usually make a copy for each student. And it's nice. It's nice that Koala has the folders too, that you can just put the student's name, and they each have their own, folder with all of their playgrounds. So.
Okay. So you're saying that when you buy them, they're not locked? Because I was assuming they were locked, and it's kind of like some of those other things, like teacher pay teacher, like something like that, like where it's copyrighted, and it's like you're not supposed to change things and things like that. So you can you can make indefinite copies. So you could actually make a copy for each one of your classes.
Yeah. You can make, I make a copy for each one of my students. So, and I have all of my nieces play on there with me sometimes and things. So I have for them too. So right now I have about 20 different folders. It's just having a little different colored name tag at the top. And then you just click on it to add it to that, to that folder. So yeah. So, and you can, there's no copyright. You can do whatever you want to. The only thing that you can't do is to resell it. because, we're using like Canva images in there. And so it can't be resold, but it can be sold in the marketplace, but you can't buy it and then resell it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's somewhat proprietary.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So what's one of the features that you think is very well, I mean, obviously the marketplace, but in the
Mhm.
marketplace, I mean, how is this helping the students though? It just still feels
Mhm.
like it's a game to play.
Right, right. So can I show you?
Sure,
Because
yes.
it's easier,
please,
it's actually
please.
easier to show you than to. Okay,
Please
so
do.
if I just share my screen here, hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, I gave permission, so here.
Okay, great. Okay, can you guys see the Koala website?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so I just want to point out something here on the main page of Koala's site, first of all, though. So because I know one of the questions you guys had for me was about new teachers and what they need to know. So I just wanted to point out that right here at the top, it has how-to videos.
Oh, okay.
This page
Oh.
is really great because unfortunately, I think it's not advertised that much, but the teachers can go here and see all the YouTube videos about how to do everything, because even though Koala, it's really, really easy to learn, I think there is still a learning curve, right? And so, yeah, these are all like, most of them are only 2 or 3 minute videos that show
I
you.
like that. There's
Yeah,
nothing, I don't want to watch a 45-minute video, to
exactly.
be
Right.
honest.
I
Right.
love
Right.
that these are short to the point
Right.
videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're just looking for how to do, I hate that too when I go to a YouTube video and I'm looking for how to do something and I have to watch the video
45
for 40 minutes
yeah.
before I find
Yeah.
out how to do it. So, so these are, this page is really good for teachers starting on there. Oh, you can see I have one here, Canva for KoalaGo Playground, that just shows people how to use images and put them
Oh,
in.
is that you?
Yeah. Yeah. I did a few
I'm
tutorial videos a while back.
9 minutes. It's a
Yeah,
long one.
it's a long
Yeah,
one.
but I get that though. That's Canva.
But that's really only one that, if you're building playgrounds that you would use. So you don't even really need to watch it, if you're not building playgrounds. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it's nice. It's nice to have just the short videos to use. Okay, so I'll go into KoalaGo now. And yeah, I don't know if I'll just show you just part of this playground, or maybe I'll show you some things in another one too. But this one is the dolphin aquarium and castle playground that I was talking about.
Okay.
And to open your playgrounds, well, let's go to Marketplace first. Well, no, I'll go to Marketplace after. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll go into the playground first, and then remind me to go back and to the Marketplace later.
All right.
And so, like I said, I have a lot of images in my playground, so it takes a few seconds to load it. I've also got my little dragon Bambino in here, so I'm going to hide him so he's not in the way, because the dragons follow you around and they tend to get in the way sometimes. So, okay. And let me go into first person view. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show you a few ways of teaching that are really easy. So in here, for example, I have this, so we can use sticky notes in there. And this one just says, open the gate by making a sentence with the words. So we have a gate that's locked. Can't open it. Sorry about the very loud sound to it.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
And so, yeah, on this one, the words are mixed up and the student has to put them in order. So if they move them into the correct box, it turns green. If I move one in and it's not correct, it stays white. So they know that that's not the right word and they have to pick another word. So, so that's how that works. And when all of these are filled in correctly, then the gate will open and let them out. So I really like they're called reaction props that are reaction action zones. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Getting confused. The reaction prop is the gate, but the action zones are what you can set up to do something like this.
Finish the sentence. I want to open the gate.
Okay, sorry. that would drive me crazy too, probably. So the favorite, I can't even remember. It's been a long time since I made this.
You have to remember, I was the person
Purple
in the
dragon.
podcast that was a
favorite.
Dragon.
Purple dragon. That's why. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Their favorite purple dragon attacked
the enormous
castle. So then our gate opens up.
Okay.
And then that way we can go outside. So, and there's really like endless ways. I mean, in this one, I used a lot of sticky notes a lot of times for things, but there's actually endless ways to do teaching activities. So here, for example, I've got the dolphin tank over here. And then there's an article that I have my students read about dolphins. Okay. And then we go over here. So working on reading comprehension, we go over here and answer the questions about the dolphins in order to open the treasure chest and see what's inside. And so I have a boat that says true and one that says false. And each one of these sticky notes has a true or false statement. They read them, they move them into the correct action zone here. And when they have all of these filled up, the treasure chest will open and there's a prize inside. And I just use, like the gem items that you can buy as prizes. Sometimes I'll put a sticky note in that says that they won 15 gems or something like that. And then I can give gems to them.
And the gems are used for?
The gems are used for, I just call them gem items. I don't know. I don't know if they have a name.
To buy things, right?
To buy things, right, for your playground. So if you go down here at the bottom, you have a whole bunch of different categories: sports, space, Easter, school, Halloween, Chinese New Year, winter, and house. And they're adding more all the time. Okay. I know Ben, I have some insider information from Ben that they're going to add some castle items pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. And so, yeah, you click on these and they have, different items that you can buy for different amounts with your gems. So students, let's see, teachers who are signed up with Koala Pro get 300 gems a month. And then
I felt like that was very cheap. I felt like you're not getting enough because it takes a long time for them to be able to buy Neptune. If they want Neptune, it's going to take 22. Yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Right.
You can't give them to the student all at once.
Right. Some of the items, like up here, I already have a lot of items because I build a lot and stuff. And so, but yeah, like Mercury, the planet Mercury here is 15 gems. That's not too bad. But if you're wanting to get, the space station down to the bottom, it's 100, or the space dome 160. So yeah, so it is something where honestly, I feel
like the economy isn't right.
Right. I have suggested before giving more gems or lowering the price of buying more gems, because I agree that a lot of the items cost too much. But it's a little expensive to buy more gems. I think that they need to have a package where, you're getting just 50 gems for, I don't know, $3 or $4 or something like that. They don't really have, it is kind of expensive that way.
Pay for gems. I don't.
Yeah. Right.
I personally feel like 300, if you're buying the Pro, I think 300 is a little on the low side.
Right. Yeah. I definitely think for sure it should be at least 500 if you're buying Pro. Personally,
I was thinking 5 to 6 because I mean the whole reason you pay for the Pro is because you probably have enough students to support that level of purchase, which means 300 gems is not going to cut just giveaways.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And it's true. I mean, it's interesting to me because I think there's some teachers who just really don't, I think there's a lot of teachers who don't use the playground at all. And so they don't deal with gem items, because I've seen where it'll say how many gem items you have at the top of your screen. And there's a lot of teachers who, when they do a video or something, they have like, 3,000-4,000 gems. But I think that's because they're getting them every month and they don't use them because they don't use the playground. And then for those of us who use the playground, yeah, it's not a lot of gems, and it's expensive to buy more, and teachers don't have money, right? So I get though that the people who have made Koala need to make money. And
I mean, it is free for them to join. It's the teachers that are paying. So I mean, there's a balance, but they can also buy their own gems if they want to buy more things too, though, right? If they sign up for an account.
Right. The students can also buy more. So I had a student in middle school who he would ask his mom, for $10 here and there so he could buy more gems. And I kind of felt bad about that, because I was like, oh, I don't know if, I want my student asking their parents for money to buy gem items, but I was like, well, it's between him and his mom, and she had no problem doing it. So
That's
yeah,
$10.
But still,
she probably saw it as a good investment because it made him interested to go to class.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
I was just actually going to compliment you. I'm always impressed when teachers are able to do creative stuff like this, because I cannot. It's not within me.
I get it. I understand. Let me just go down.
Hey, I love how you went through the ceiling and it went to another level instead of dying.
Yeah, I just decided to drop through the water instead of going down the stairs, so it'd be faster. I do that a lot. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. That's one thing that this has allowed me to use my creativity in a way that I just absolutely love, because I love being creative, but usually it costs money or something. And I do have to say, shout out big time to Ben and Xavier, because especially with me in my situation, I should say, I guess probably because I don't know if they do this with other people who build playgrounds or not, but I have lupus and I'm on disability, so I don't have money at all. And there have been multiple times that I have asked for more gems because I'm building a playground, and they have given me way more than I've asked for. So
wow.
Nice.
So that has been amazing. So I've really appreciated that a lot. That's one of the biggest things about KoalaGo. They are incredible. The guys who made it and the people
we had Xavier on, and I do have to admit, we liked him a lot. He was a really cool guy. Yeah.
There's a KoalaGo Facebook group, and I gotta say, that's really nice because it makes those guys, they're accessible.
Right.
It's not a faceless company.
No, yeah, it's awesome,
like one
because
called Class N.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome because I love it, because I have, with my lupus, I ended up having to move back in with my parents after years of living away, because I was having seizures and I couldn't breathe. So, and I'm, kind of isolated now from all my friends who've moved on, got families. I have made so many friends through Koala just because of that Facebook group, and friends with Xavier and Ben. I've talked to both of them in person multiple times about
in person.
Yeah, about not in person. Sorry, I should say like this.
Like Zoom in person. Got
it. And I forget, in the teaching world, we consider this in person now.
That's what I was gonna say. That's our in person now, isn't it? Right. And so yeah, just because I've had ideas, or if there have been problems that I've noticed a lot of people talking about in the group or anything like that, I can just ask him if I can talk to him and sign up on the calendar, and I can talk to him the next day or 2 days later. And
sure.
It's so nice. I mean, I've never had customer service like Koala has before with any.
I gotta be honest with you. I used it for a few students, kind of when I was getting a feel for what it was, and I had an
Mhm.
issue, and I'm going to tell you what, customer service was Johnny on the spot. They were
Yeah.
right there and they responded immediately. And I
Mhm.
was just using either I just paid for a month or I was using a trial account that Xavier gave me.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember, but they were on top of it.
Right.
Something there, the KoalaGo's big competitor could take note of.
Right. Yeah, it's everybody is so nice on the chat, and you usually don't have to wait very long at all for them to, to get on it. And
Right.
um
So how long did this take you to build? This
so
looks
this
really in depth.
this is the first one I did. So that one that I was talking about that took
Uh-huh.
about three months from the time I started working on it to creating it. And I'm not
Mhm.
sure why I can't find where the sea anemone goes
It was
because
on the
it's not
first wall.
highlighting.
It was on the
Yeah.
first wall in the hallway. You
Oh, okay.
passed
That's
it.
what I thought. That's what I thought. And I thought I put it in the right one and it didn't light up.
Come
So
on, Deanna.
No, because
This
you
is
put
your
it in the
stuff.
second. You put it in the second
exactly. I'm
one
like,
instead of the first
can't even
one.
do my own playground.
Go around the corner. It's gonna drive me crazy. I'm bad about this.
Well, this one,
This
this one is the sergeant fish. I know, so that's why I'm
Is
wondering. Sometimes,
this oh,
every once in a while, one of these gets, for
out
some
of
reason, will
line?
get misdirected, and I just have to go in and fix it real quick. So I think that's what's happened here.
Okay.
But anyway, but when you put all these in and label them, the treasure chest opens, and again, they have a
what do
prize
you
in
get?
there.
What's
Now
in it?
my question is that obviously this is pre-built. If I were to buy this, right, I could use it for my
Mhm.
students.
Right.
How easy is this to alter?
Right.
Because let's say this is just a little too advanced or not advanced enough for one of my students, and we're doing a
Right.
specific maybe biology class, and I want to change a couple of the tiles with the questions.
Mhm. Right.
How difficult is this to alter?
So the first thing I'll say, well, let's see. The first thing I'll say is that if you want to write, new information on your sticky notes because you have a student who is far beyond this or something, and you can always just click on the on the sticky note and type in something different, right? You just
Okay.
erase it and type what you want to on there and hit confirm.
Now I understand making the copy comment. Keep the
Right.
Oh
original,
yeah.
make a copy.
Right. Right. Yeah, you want to make copies of when you buy your playgrounds so that you have a copy for each of your students, because you can, now I can actually turn off the permission for them to use sticky notes, so they wouldn't be able to write in sticky notes, or I can turn off the permission for them to be able to delete blocks or add blocks or all of those things. So you have total control over all that, but sometimes you don't remember to do it, right?
Right.
And so it's good to have a copy for each student. So that's one of the things you can do if you want to add or delete or change or whatever information, and that can take a while depending on how much information you want to put in. What I like to do is, let's say, so this one, especially this activity, is a reading comprehension again. Usually I would have my student read it and then answer the questions. I would teach them about finding keywords to find the answers to the
Right.
questions. But I can use this playground, and I have for a 5-year-old. And the way that I did that was, instead of them reading it, I would read the information, and I would read it, more slowly because they're 5. And I would give them time in between the sentences to know, I'd ask them a question after every sentence so they know what I'm reading, what I'm talking about. And then I would ask them, can you guess which shark this goes with? Can you guess which shark has 7 rows of
Can you
teeth? Or can you
now
guess
can
which?
you make a button that they could click and it would read it for them like a recording?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because I need to do that in this playground. So when this playground came out, they didn't have the capability yet to add audio. So
Mhm.
I need to go back and add audio to all of this. But now they
Okay.
do have that. So you just left click on it and it will, like I can be reading it to them. Yeah. So that's the other way with younger kids. Instead of them having to read something, it will just read it to them.
Okay.
Are you talking like this could be a homework assignment?
Oh, it definitely could be a homework assignment. Well, okay, here's the situation. So that gets into a little bit more, a little bit more depth, because right now, the way KoalaGo works is that the student has to be online with you if you are on KoalaGo's website using the playground, right?
Mhm.
So they can't get onto this automatically. However, let me show you something else here real quick.
Yeah, they have to be in the classroom to be able to
That's right, because
access
I
the
forgot, because they're
playground.
not paying to access it. They're doing it through your portal, through your invite.
Right, right. But we do have this, which I love. And this is totally underutilized. But hopefully it's going to get better soon. So as far as teachers using it. So every teacher who joins KoalaGo Pro has their own teacher portal. So this one is mine. So in all the students or whoever, don't have to be a student with KoalaGo. You don't have to, you know, be associated with KoalaGo or be a student or a teacher at all to access this. All you need is the website link. So everyone that I give my link to can come here anytime without me being on and can play any of my games that I've put on here. So if they want to, you know, go in and play one of these games by themselves, they can do that. Or I have like this build your own playground. That's just a grass field where they can go in and they can build with the blocks and the gem items and everything like that. And so, oops, sorry. So I love that because that way, you know, like I say, kids, even kids who aren't being tutored with KoalaGo can use KoalaGo. And
Now
and
these,
so
I would imagine, are locked down so the kids can't mess with them, right?
yeah, so when you submit them as a teacher,
Mhm.
you know, I set all my restrictions
This,
on what they can do and can't do when I submit it. So they're not able to,
we
you
didn't
know,
cover this in the
yeah,
podcast because we didn't know it existed, to be
So
honest.
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying it's almost like a free preview of what you have available as a teacher, is what it is.
Basically, I mean, it's even more than a free preview, I would say, because they can use it, the games, you know, for the playing part of it, and even for education part. So like here with my Golfland playground, I still have, I believe, oh, maybe I don't in this one. So I was going to say I still have my questions in it. I think there's another one that I need to add to my teacher portal here that has questions in it. So it still can be an educational game, or it can be like this where it doesn't have any questions in it, but they're going around and able to play golf, like mini golf. And so yeah, so so the yeah, the teacher portals are amazing. And Emily Radecki, so I have about, I don't know, maybe 10 here on mine. She has about 40 games on hers.
Right.
The teachers can set what is, and her games are amazing. I mean, all her playgrounds are amazing. So the teachers can set which playgrounds they want to be free and on their own portal, and which ones they want to be only with a paid subscription. And the subscription was just lowered to $4.95 a month. It was much higher than that, but I had a talk with Ben. And so now the subscriptions for all the teachers is $4.95 a month. And so, but most of the time, I mean, it depends on the teacher, but I know with me and with Emily, almost all of our games are free. Almost all the playgrounds are free. There's just a few, you know, I think I have 3 that are locked or something. So yeah, so the kids can go on and play these games anytime they want to for free. So I love it. It's really great.
Now, here's a question for you. Like, I will 100% tell you that
Mhm.
myself and Nichole would never have the time to make something like this.
Right, right,
Yeah.
Would
right.
are teachers able to commission you to build? I want one for this. Is there a way
Uh-huh.
to request that? Yeah, we pay
So
you $5,000 and you'll make us a playground or whatever.
now, if it were $5,000, I would do it. But
Right, right, right,
so
right.
so it's interesting because both Emily and I have been asked that, have actually had people ask us if we would build them a playground. And my issue with it is that because of my lupus, with me, like I say, Emily can build a lot faster than I can. With me, it does take me a long enough time that if I figured out the hours and how much I was being paid per hour, it probably would be around $5,000, or at least, like at least 1,000.
Whoa.
And so,
Okay.
yeah, it probably would be more,
But
honestly,
what if
like,
you kept the rights to it
mhm.
and they just asked you to build it and you could still resell it on the marketplace? Would you?
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes a difference too. But it still would be, it's kind
I
of
gotcha.
hard because I'm
It's
like,
got to
well,
be
right.
worthwhile. It's got to be
Yeah,
worthwhile for you, right? I
it's
understand that.
it's kind of a hard issue because right now I'm like, well, I built the playgrounds that I built. It's been a while since I built one, but I built those without being paid to build them at all,
Right, right,
So,
right.
so I'm like, I might as well get paid to build
And
them. But
I,
it's hard. It's hard because knowing exactly what the other person wants with
mhm,
everything, and I
right.
mean, that would take a lot of time. So,
Do you know if KoalaGo is gonna implement some sort of AI feature where I could just go in there, hey, build me this type of playground with
that would be
these?
cool.
That would be, oh,
Well, I
That would
mean,
be,
that would
yeah,
save an enormous amount of time because you could at least get the base template and then do it from
right,
there.
that would be
right.
awesome. I know that Xavier asked about AI. I don't think it was for playground. I think it was for
Mhm.
something, more for
Classroom notes
teaching
and stuff
tools.
like that.
Classroom
Yeah.
Yeah.
notes, transcripts,
Yeah.
summaries.
So I know he asked about that a while ago in the Facebook group, how we would feel about, how we feel about AI and needing it right away and things like that. And honestly, my reply was, I think AI is good for a lot of things. I think it can be bad for things, it, but I think it can be really helpful for teaching. But I feel like there's a lot more that's more important right now. So one of the great things about KoalaGo is that they have they use, what is it called? I want to say it's called Canly, but that's not right. It's a place basically where we can put in any ideas that we have, anything that we would
Oh,
like to
like a
see.
Like a
suggestion
think
box.
tank, like a think tank.
Right. Yeah. And it starts with a C. I know that. I just can't remember the name of it right now, but which is funny because I've used it a lot. So any of the teachers, when they're like, oh, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see my avatar be able to fly, that's one of the ones that I would like to do. But I also have a lot more like practical ones about, being able to do this with sticky notes or whatever. And anyone can put it in what they want to on that site, and then everybody votes on it to upvote it, so that then Ben works on whatever's at the top. Whichever requests are at the top, so whichever requests have the most votes, he works on first. So in that website, they probably have at least, it's got to be over 1,000 requests. And it's because people will ask for things like, they're like, my student would really like Canny. Thank you. Yes. I was like,
Got GPT for the win.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, why can't I think of it? Yeah. So a lot of it is things that are superfluous, I would say. Like, they're not necessary, like people say, one of the big ones I get and the other teachers get is that the kids want to be able to change their dragon's name. And right now they can't change their dragon's name. So their dragon, you get a little egg when you buy an egg, and 8 days later your dragon hatches, and they've made a really cute magical way that the egg hatches. And then the dragon pops out and has his own name in there, in a little thing above him. And they can't change the name, and they really want to be able to name it themselves. So that's like one of the things that's in Canny, so a lot of them are things that aren't absolutely necessary. I would say probably
It's to the experience.
Probably 2/3 of them are things that aren't absolutely necessary. And then the other 1/3 are things that would be helpful, but and there's not really a lot that is like life and death, matters.
Well, I mean, obviously,
I'm just over here doing a happy dance.
Yeah.
because the dragon does something. That was my big issue with the
Oh,
fun class.
yes.
If you remember, that was like the one that drove me nuts more than anything else.
Oh, was the dragon? I was trying
The
to figure out
egg
what it was.
was the
Oh, the
egg. I was like,
egg.
you can't,
Oh.
all of a sudden it just randomly hatched, like not even on screen or anything, and it wasn't in
Right.
the
You
window
didn't
where
see it
Oh.
hatch.
yeah, I was like,
Oh, I
it did
see.
a whole promotion. I'm like, woohoo, the egg does something.
That's so great. You know what's so great about that is that the episode I'm working on right now for my YouTube channel is Magic Dragons, and it shows the dragons hatching, and it shows a lot of things about the
Yeah,
dragons.
that would be.
So, so that's
So
perfect.
so I have some other questions. I really love that you do this marketplace, but how do you personally use it? Do you only teach out of this? Are you doing a mixture? Like how do you use this to the best advantage?
Okay, so what I do most of the time, I mean, there are days that I only use the playground to teach in, but what I do most of the time is I like to use all three if I can, the whiteboard, the co-browser, and the playground. So um, I'm trying to think of a good example. Let me go into my activity.
No,
So
that actually makes a lot more sense because you could maybe start with the lesson, go into
yeah,
the game, and then finish off with something on the whiteboard as like, a wrap up.
right. And a lot of the teachers do use the playground just as a reward at the end of tutoring. So they'll do like the last 5 or 10 minutes of tutoring. Their student can go in and use the playground. But I love to use it for teaching the whole time because I was just going to show you, but I went out of it. Like for example, in that aquarium playground, I have a whole article that I wrote about manta rays,
Mhm.
and each page is on a different sticky note. So the student they have to read them, then put them in order of how the whole article is
Sequence.
supposed to go. And then they answer, there's a sticky note with questions about it. So they have to answer all the questions. So anything that you can do, I guess this is the main point. Anything that you can do on a whiteboard, you can do in the playground and more. And so that's what I love about it, because there's nothing that you can do on a whiteboard that you couldn't do in the playground. Also, this I have to show you because this is, sorry, I'm talking fast. There's a lot of information.
Okay.
I was like, don't
It's
talk
okay.
fast, but but there's so much to tell you, and I love koala. um, so let me show you really quick. I'll just show you in one of my alien adventure playgrounds. Because if I forgot to tell you this, that would be really sad, because this is the biggest reason I think that teachers don't use playground is because they're worried about, oh, there's my little dragon Bambino.
This cracks me up. I like the dragon, just so
Yeah, he's really cute. I know they're planning on doing more pets, but they haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm excited to see when they have more pets. Anyway, so if I forgot to show you this, I'd be really sad, because the managing the student in playground is the biggest reason that teachers don't use the playground.
Oh my God, yes.
And I can completely understand that, because if your student can just take off and run around and you can't get them back, you can't do a tutoring session, right?
Or they keep like killing themselves on purpose so they can float back down.
Right. So what they have here, if I can find it, why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. I just haven't used it for a while. So down here at the bottom, they have the focus tool. You click on that and you click on whatever you want the student to be able to see, like this. And now you see that that's closer up. That is all the student can see, and the student cannot run around. They can't move at all.
They're locked in.
Mm-hmm. And so you do the activity with them, like x divided by 5 equals 2. You have them find the answer, remove it. You do that activity with them, and then you click back on that same button at the bottom to let them be able to walk around again. So no matter where your student is, let's say that my student, took off and went all the way over here to the rocket. It doesn't matter. When you do focus tool, they only see that, and it doesn't bring their avatar back to where you are. But again, it makes it so you can't, they can't move around. They can't go any farther, for one thing.
They
so
can't
like,
distract themselves.
yeah, but they can only see what you're showing on the screen. So then, so yeah, there are times that if they've taken off, I do the focus
You
tool.
know what would be a cool feature, and I don't think anybody's thought of it. I just thought of it though. Hopefully, maybe
Mhm.
nobody thought of it. It would be cool if you could lock the kids to the teacher. So the main avatar is
Yeah,
you, and they have to follow you.
that's a really good
They could
idea. And
only go
Yeah.
so far. Like they can you lock your
They can
students
only
to.
see your view. They can
right,
only see
right.
your
Well, it's
view.
not just that. I think they should
Yeah.
still have their view because you can do the focus tool, but I think you should be able to lock them to the main avatar where they can only go a certain distance from the main avatar. So they have to follow
Right.
you.
Right. Yeah. And I think actually a long time ago, I want to say that somebody did put something like that in Canny where they were, yeah. And I think that's a great idea. I think that would
Oh,
be
like an
awesome.
auto follow. You're
Yes, where they
stuck on
can't
auto
they're
Yeah.
follow.
like you're the
Right.
main avatar and they have to follow you. So they still have some autonomy. And if you want them to focus, you use the focus tool, but they
Right.
can't go too far from you. They're locked to you as the main avatar.
Right. Because what I was going to say was that after I do an activity with them on the focus mode, if they're on the other side of the playground, I still have to go over there to be next to
there.
them. So, which really honestly hasn't been a big deal for me because I can just go through the playground and then go, oh, focus tool again and focus tool again, and so they can only see those things as I'm getting closer to them. But it would be pretty cool if they couldn't take off too far away from you,
Right.
maybe not attached at the hip, but maybe if they had like, a certain.
Yeah, that's why I said where you can go a certain distance so they can still
Yeah.
look around at stuff because your
Right.
stuff has a lot of information, but they
Mhm.
couldn't go so far that they're not like where you're at.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they couldn't go to a different level of the playground.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be great.
Now,
So yeah. Mhm.
one of the other areas that we didn't just bang on KoalaGo about this, but also Fun Class was the
Mhm.
screen sharing.
Oh,
Yes, I use
Right.
teacher tools because I have a lot of the teacher tools, the built-in programs, and it seemed like the screen share was just like early Zoom
Weird.
version.
Oh,
Like
okay.
weird.
Right.
I don't know.
And
Do you use that very often, the screen sharing?
honestly, I haven't really used the screen share at all in KoalaGo because
I don't blame you.
I've just, well,
I'm not gonna lie.
I've been just tutoring mostly one-on-one. I want to start doing group classes, but there isn't really any reason for me to screen share because I use the co-browser and the co-browser will take me anywhere.
That's
So
that's one thing I wanted to ask you. Now,
uh-huh.
obviously, the co-browser gets you out on the internet. Now I
Mhm.
use the co-browser almost exclusively.
Uh-huh.
But that's
I use screen
because
share
I use
exclusively.
some interactive lessons.
Right.
Do you also create these interactive lessons? Because if you
So I've
do, I want people to know.
So I've wanted to learn about that. Honestly, I don't even know. It's probably something I could hopefully maybe
Genially. You
learn
need to
pretty
use
easily.
genially.
But
You
I've
need
actually never even tried to learn them.
okay.
But here's part of the reason why. Part of the reason why is because in the KoalaGo marketplace, there
Mhm.
are so many activities that people
Right.
have made with things like that.
Right.
Like there's one, what is the one? It's not word wall, it's word something word anyway, where they have already created activities and some of those are free, some of them are only $1, a
Mhm.
lot of them are only $1. So if I really want to, I can go in there and buy those, and so I don't have to make them myself, so I haven't, but I also
I pay
Mhm.
for some of the interactive lessons like from Katie Prescott
Uh-huh.
and a couple other people. Katie's big on
Right.
KoalaGo as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Katie's really good at making building playgrounds as well. Yep.
oh, is
And
she? I didn't know that.
yeah.
I didn't know she built
Oh, I didn't know
playgrounds
Oh
that
too.
yeah.
either.
Yeah, she's got a few of them on there that are really good. So
Yeah, see,
yeah.
and I do almost completely screen share because of my teaching tools that I have that I use for a
Right.
lot of programs. I wish
Right.
I could do co-browser with the teaching tools on my screen where it doesn't have to be web-based because a lot of my
Mm,
teaching tools have where the kids could move the tiles and stuff for the questions and that would be
uh-huh.
nice for me.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Yeah, on these you can draw on it, you can annotate.
Right.
The student, if you give them permission, can draw
Oh
or
yeah, that's always
or
a
write.
mistake.
Yeah.
So
You can do the sticky notes here, also.
I thought when we screen shared in our test, Jay, the
this isn't a screen share. This is a co-browser.
oh, is this
Yeah,
the co-browser?
I'm in the co-browser right now. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So yeah, that's the thing is I really haven't used screen share because I can just use the co-browser to
Right.
go to, like I use education.com a lot for their games, and the kids will
You
just
know,
play the games through that.
it's funny. I pull a lot of stuff down from education.com for my son. I never
Hmm.
really considered using them in classes. I never really
Oh yeah.
considered it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had, I like to work mostly with first through third graders who are struggling
Mhm.
with reading and have dyslexia and different things like that. And so
Are your
so
students mostly US based?
yeah, they've all been US based. I
Okay.
haven't
Okay.
wanted to deal with the currency issue. So,
It's not that big of a deal, honestly. The exchange
yeah.
rate is what the exchange rate is. If you
Yeah.
charge
Yeah.
in dollars, you never get hurt.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So I might actually do that at some point because I really want it. Now, see, I don't know why for some reason it's not letting me click on the game here, but I think that's more because I'm not logged into education.com than anything.
Right.
But yeah, they have all these little word games on here that I'll play with the students. And like I say, you can go to any website. I've gone to YouTube to show them videos that are
Yeah.
teaching about vowel pairs and things like that. So yeah, with the co-browser, it really I haven't had any need to do any screen sharing is
Okay.
I think.
I
Yeah.
was just curious.
Yeah. 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 I haven't heard any. I was trying to think if I've heard anything bad about the screen sharing in the Facebook group. I haven't heard anything
It's
about the screen sharing, but I've
It's
everyone.
not very good. It doesn't
Oh,
the
if you're gonna
pens and
screen share,
things.
you're better off using Zoom, to be
oh,
honest
okay.
with
Which
you.
is
Okay.
one of the
But
only reasons I haven't bought KoalaGo is because of the
that's
screen
not
share.
only KoalaGo,
Oh,
it's
mhm.
the competitors as well. The screen
Oh,
sharing
okay.
just isn't very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And
it's
honestly,
not.
I know with Zoom because I tried it today because I wanted to make sure I was gonna be able to screen share. It's been such a long time that since I've used Zoom. And so, screen sharing like this, like right now from
Mhm.
Zoom and screen sharing Koala, you know, seems to work just fine. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, what was I gonna say? There was something, the group, I have seen them talk about it's not that I don't think it's that they have a problem with how it's showing it. It's more setting it up. But the document camera, every once in a while, somebody will ask about setting up their document camera through Koala to work because they have, because they're having trouble with that. But
Mhm.
I haven't heard anything about the screen sharing really.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, what would you tell a teacher to
Mhm.
focus on if they're just starting out with KoalaGo? What would you
So
say?
I would say, first of all, I was doing it for a while and I need to start doing it again when they put in the Facebook group, let's invite our new members or say hi to welcome our new members. I used to put the link for that page, here are the how-to videos, because the one thing with the help chat, they do it 24/7, and a lot of the people who are working on it are in, there's a couple in the Philippines, there are people around the world. But a lot of the questions they get, I think, are ones that you can find really easily in these how-to videos. Like I say,
Mhm.
just watching a couple minutes of it. And
Okay.
so sometimes I think they get, like, I've always had great experiences with the chat. They'll actually, if I'm with the student, they'll actually come into the classroom with me so I can see them, and the student and I and the chat person can all talk together and hear each other and see each other at the same time,
Okay.
and they'll fix whatever my issue is. So it's great.
Okay.
But I think they get swamped with things that are not as like critical, and people asking,
Ah.
How do
I
I
have a
use a sticky note?
phrase for that. I have a
Yeah.
phrase for that. They're majoring in the minors.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it just, and so it takes up the chat time. The people on chat, honestly, the customer service people have never told me this, but I have seen where in the Facebook group, people are asking these questions over and over and over again, the same questions, and a lot of these questions that can be answered on this page. So that's one of the things I would say first, is that if you're new to KoalaGo, I would definitely go here and watch the videos first, so you know how to, do the basic things.
And actually, I would say not just go here, but join the group to ask questions from veteran teachers.
Yes.
You'll definitely be giving us that link. What's the name of the group again?
So the Facebook group, let me actually go to it here.
I have it.
So this is my Facebook page, but you have got that Koala one. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's Koala Teachers Family. And it's a great group. There's almost 4,000 members, and nice. Everybody's really good at answering questions in this. So I just posted today a little clip of one of my videos on my channel. So that's what this is right here. But so
what would you tell teachers before we? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what would be your parting advice for teachers, so we can wrap it up today?
Yeah. So I would say definitely, like I say, watch those videos that explain it. Also, there's more of them on YouTube as well. But I would honestly, it's kind of funny, but I would say don't be afraid to learn about the playground and use it, because so many people don't want to try it at all. Like, I've seen so many people write in this group that they're just kind of overwhelmed by it and they don't want to try it. And I just think it's what makes the difference between Koala and other,
it is unique
like this
compared to all the competitors out there. Nobody else has
anything like that. Yeah. And it's not just that, but it's the fact, to me, like I said in the beginning, that when students are engaged and they're excited and they're having fun, that's when they learn. Well, the playground is absolutely perfect for that. And I just, yes, if you aren't focused, you can waste a lot of time in playground if you don't have a plan first. But if you, like I say, if you go and you buy one of these playgrounds, or even sometimes they're free, that already have educational content in them, and all it takes is 5 minutes of looking over it before your class to see what's in it, and then you can teach and use the focus tool in there. I wish I had time to show you guys, but I know we don't. But I have actually gone in during class, with a student, and I'm talking to a student and I'm having them work on a math problem or read something to me, and I make an action zone where, I set up an action zone where you can, like, we move the sticky notes in, and the treasure chest opens with a prize in it during class while he's doing something else. So it takes some practice to get to where you can do that, but it's not like, it's not like weeks of practice or something. It's it's actually pretty easy. And so I'll probably make a video about that pretty soon, actually. So
that would be great. That would be great.
Very good. Can we go back to main screen, please?
Yep.
Cool. Thanks. This has been very educational. I don't know about you, Jay, but I think this just helped me solidify our original findings and our first.
I'm pretty locked on that.
I feel like they really use the gamification to their best advantage.
Yeah, and when we did that original podcast, at the end of it, I felt, I don't know how I felt, disloyal is what I felt. Because I chose KoalaGo over Fun Class. And I am a Fun Class user, one of the original ones on that platform. So I felt like I had a loyalty problem, but I'm still okay with what I chose. I'm still okay with that.
Yeah, and I get that too, because KoalaGo, other than using Zoom before it, KoalaGo is, first one like this for me too. And, but there's no, as I know there will be other places that will pattern them, their programs and things after KoalaGo, and that's just the way business works.
Yeah.
And there, probably will be something better after that and after that. And it's okay to switch, as things get better. So you shouldn't feel bad about it.
For me, honestly, the only
giving a plug for Xavier there.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
After today's very informative podcast, I really am enjoying how this can be used. It really opened my eyes to some of the areas that we were very confused about, and I feel a lot better with my original assessment. For me, really the only holdback for me is the screen share, just because my particular library of materials is very teacher tool heavy. But otherwise, it's it's coming out to be something that's really solid, and I think my personal opinion is it's going to be the wave of the future for teachers. So
let me say just one last thing. Sorry. I don't want to keep you forever, but along with that, with the screen share. So I did want to mention, and I don't know if this would, make it more useful for you or not, but you can actually import not only just like worksheets into Playground, but whole workbooks, I know that Emily has, I think it was Emily and can't remember, anyway, Leanne or somebody, who have actually imported entire like testing booklets and somebody I think did something, I could be wrong about this, but I want to say somebody did something like 1,000 pages into Playground, which I think is insane, but myself, but I haven't used it for that. I have used it to import worksheets that I have made myself, but I haven't used it for like whole workbooks. But you can actually import all that into a Playground and use that Playground, for your whole lesson. Like I say, I use it for my whole lessons sometimes.
Oh, when I say teaching tool, it's an actual like program that I've downloaded.
It's like a National Geographic app that loads the material inside.
It has like activities and
and
quizzes and audios and videos. It's all embedded. So it's not just like a workbook, which I have.
Gotcha. Yeah. I understand what you're saying now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the teacher tool. So it's an entire program.
Is that something that, I was just thinking, if it's something that did you have to download it to your computer, or can you, is it a website?
It's not web-based. That's why I said I am stuck on the screen share. That's why I said, if a co-browser ever advanced to the point where it could be used on your actual computer for your actual materials, that would be the best scenario for me. But if the screen share needs to be upgraded to at least Zoom level, because it's not as easy for the kids. They don't have the option for the pen and stuff.
Gotcha.
That was my issue.
Yeah.
That was my only holdback.
Well, hopefully maybe someday Ben can get to that and maybe do that too, because I know that they are working on, upgrading things all the time. So but
screen share was the only thing holding me back. That was literally it for me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Deanna. You have really shown us an amazing amount of stuff. I think this is probably going to be a game changer for a lot of teachers trying to decide what platform they're going to use. I think you really tipped the scales towards KoalaGo, is my opinion. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah. Gosh, man. Yeah, it's gonna kill me. But yes, Yan is the Fun Class founder.
She's so nice.
Gonna kill me. But yeah, if I were to have to go out today and purchase one of them, I would be led to be using KoalaGo right now.
Yeah.
I just would be. I know that it's also, it's really stable. I wish, though, the actual classroom, there was more stuff. I wish there was more stuff. The confetti and the stars is kind of, it's kind of 2015.
Right. As far as rewards go, is that?
Yeah.
But at least I can see the count and see the stuff. I can't see it. That was my issue too.
Yeah,
Right, with fun
I use the
class.
confetti every once in a while, but mostly I use gems to reward my students because I know that
That's a commodity. I'm very
Yeah.
tight. I was very tight with those gems.
yeah,
That's a commodity.
yeah. I mean, there are times that I'll just give them one at a time, but they still get excited about it. So
See, I would use the confetti as a reward to get to the
yeah, right.
You have to earn
That's-
so many to get to the game.
Right. And I was gonna say, maybe Fun Class and Koala can join forces, and then we'll be doing.
Now that would be a powerhouse. Could you imagine?
Maybe you suggest that. So yeah.
So, Nichole, what's up for June? What are we doing in June?
Well, first
our
we have
schedule's
to.
all out of whack.
I know, right? Well, I think we're going to do a quick wrap up though, because we have to wrap up this last month and do a recap on the Battle of the Platforms, the guest experts that we had, and don't forget we need to do our leaderboards, our Wall of Shame, Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So
We
I
do
think
a monthly thing where we add somebody or a company to the Wall of Shame and Hall of Fame.
I like the name of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
we enjoy that. Cambly's on the list. If you know Cambly, they're on the Wall of Shame.
Oh,
twice.
okay. I haven't heard of them. So
Cambly, really?
really.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm.
You gotta get out every once in a while.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think we're going to do the wrap up, and then we're going to, of course, this season has been a season of changes. We've taken the last 2 seasons and we're really just refocusing, revamping, and just redoing the
And
whole process, improving and so
we
we
also both became really busy.
Mhm.
I think we'll talk about that in the wrap up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think next month is going to be a surprise. I think we're going to reveal that during our wrap up session. I think we'll
Okay.
tease that a little bit more.
That works for me.
Yep. So it has been amazing. I feel much better about my choice with KoalaGo during the battle.
Mhm.
I'm still sticking with it. I think it's great. I think Xavier, you need to fix the screen share and I will be all over the purchase. Come on, man. At least Zoom quality. Come on. But anyways, other than that, yeah, I think it's great. A lot of teachers are like me. Because co-browsers weren't available at the time, or something that wasn't very widely used or known, I spent a lot of my income to upgrade my library, and I'm not going to tank that just for some red meat stuff.
Right.
So
no, I
screen
totally
share is
get
a big
that.
deal.
Yeah.
So thank you,
it is.
Deanne. Don't forget
You're
to give
welcome.
us your links, and you guys check out the links below to find Deanne and check out some of her stuff. All right, you
Thanks
guys.
for coming on.
Thank
Deanna.
you, guys. I
Deanna,
appreciate it.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.